Stop recording.
Oh,
So
weird. Now it's letting me. Okay.
Oh, I can type subtitles too.
Oh, I didn't mean to push the button.
God, how do you know if it's recording? Oh, because it says recording. Okay. Cool.
Hello, here we are.
I'm just
Here we are.
making this
Now
so
we're on the same page.
if you want to record your own speech part.
So is the recording of like the whole thing, or we have to record our own individual parts?
So one person, like a couple people are gonna record the whole thing, but last time I tried to upload everybody's and it said it was too long, so now I'm just recording my part. So it's kind of up to you. You can record the whole thing or just your own part if you want.
I've never really used Zoom besides this class. We never used it when we went online, so I don't really know how to like record and stuff on here.
Is that the very bottom?
To see thing.
Like right under, should say like participants, chat, share screen, record. Just click the
I
record
don't have a
button.
record button.
No?
Okay. Well,
I can just email it to you.
yeah, you'll find it from someone.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm gonna start mine.
All right. I'll start the timer.
Okay, starting with me. Set up a little bit here. See me? Yeah, this is good. Okay. Okay, so my rant speech, this is about ranting about coworkers being late to work. It's that time again, 6:30. I'm walking into my break room, turning over, clocking in with my card, walking out, going to sit down at my desk, grabbing a little 5-minute report from the other nurse aide and sitting down at my desk and just kind of gathering my thoughts. I look around and he's here, she's here, but guess who's not here? That one coworker who is always late. Okay, maybe not always. They might be on time like once or twice, but this person's always late. And you know it. You know when they're on the schedule, you see them, oh, that person's gonna be late. I cannot stand when a coworker is late, when everyone else is on time, it just ruins the whole flow of the floor. The role of my job as a PCC or nurse aide is to get a 5-minute report as soon as you show up to work, relieve that nurse aide so they can go home after their 13-hour shift, and I'm supposed to answer all the call-outs for the patients so that the nurses can get their 30-minute report on like medicines and if the patient's a code or not, all the important stuff that I don't need to know. So it's very important to show up on time. What really sucks is a person's gonna be late, but sometimes will she even show up? Sometimes they don't show up, It's awful. It goes, you're waiting 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you just don't know. You just don't know until boss comes up and says, well, this girl's not showing up. And that sucks because PCCs or on other pods have to cover for that one pod, this girl not showing up. That's literally double the work, double the patients. It's a mess. It's completely awful and not fair at all. Not to mention the nurses are at risk. If they don't have a nurse aide, they can't get that full report and really get to know their patients because they have to be answering those call-outs for those patients. So it's not a good thing at all. And a coworker being late also means that PCC who is there has to stay and wait to see whenever this person shows up, which means after their 13-hour shift, they have to work more. And that's not fair either. And it's not to mention that if that PCC has to leave right away because, life, gotta go, then nurses are stuck with no aide. And once again, nurses are going to get behind because they have to answer all those call-outs. And what really bugs me is that the same person is always late, but it never seems that they get in trouble because it keeps happening over and over. Will she get in trouble or will she not? Will it ever change? Basics, it's really annoying when coworkers always late, that same coworker, and it'd be nice if they could show up on time every once in a while. So, any questions?
I know you probably said it, but what does PCC stand for?
No, I didn't say that actually. That stands for Patient Care Champion, which is a fancy term for nurse aide, but we're not certified. We're not CNAs. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool.
Any other questions?
Okay.
Only
That was good. I agree. Late coworkers suck.
that was good, especially when it sounds like you like need to give some info.
Yeah.
Important info.
Like that look like maybe a little bit better.
Tilt it up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, that'll be good. Okay. My rant is on judgment against mothers, especially special needs mothers. As a mother, you get criticism and judgment from every angle possible. Everyone has an idea of the best, most appropriate ways to raise a child, whether what's the best things to feed them, ways to bathe them, the safest toys that they just need to play with. Now you take that to a more extreme level when you take into account the mom of a special needs child. When you're a special needs mom, you deal with many, many medical professionals. All have their own ways and their own opinions of things that kid just needs. Often those things need to be done a certain way in that person's opinion, even though it varies from another person's opinion. And they're just silently judging you the entire time based on your child's progress. Oh, her head control just seemed much better this time last year. What do you think that may be about? Has she done anything new over this quarantine? Made any progress in any of her goals at all? These types of appointments or meetings have me in an anxiety puddle. I want to just leap out the door and run to the nearest exit. My daughter is followed by two separate teams of therapists, a physical therapist, an occupational therapist, a speech therapist that she only sees in her private therapy through her daycare. She also has her second group of people where she also has her physical therapy, her occupational therapy, her speech therapy through her special needs program at an elementary school here in town. That's 8 people together, if you include the 2 teachers for each of those programs, that you have to coordinate with as a mom. That's 8 people who are emailing you, 8 people who are sending you different things, 8 people who are giving you information and you just need to respond. When it's home classes, 8 people that are needing to Zoom you and contact you. And most importantly, that's 8 people judging you. Judging mothers needs to come to an end. Every mother I have ever met is working their tails off to do the very best they can for their children, especially when you have a special needs child. Pressure on mothers needs to be lightened, and understanding the intensity of an average day's needs to be taken into account more heavily when choosing to enlighten a stranger with your opinions on their children. The end.
That was good. That was from the heart.
Hopefully it wasn't too dark behind me.
No, I enjoyed that one. I think that there is a lot more, like, first, like you said, being a mom alone and then being a special needs mom, you have that much more people just like watching you like a hawk, basically, judging your every movement. Commend you for that.
Could you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was focusing. I'm like, talk louder with your voice.
No, you definitely sound like you have a cold, but it was still good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I really liked your speech.
Thank you.
Okay, do you guys want me to go?
Sure.
Okay. Hold on, I need to pull up my stats page. Okay. There's the baby. Okay, I want all of you to close your eyes for me. Now I want you to imagine yourselves in a prison cell and they just slammed the door and sentenced you to life without the possibility of parole. So you're in there for the rest of your life. and you know deep down in your heart that you did not commit the crime that you've just been sentenced to life in prison for. The chances of this happening, you might not think are very big, but over the last 20 years, over 2,000 people have been found actually innocent rather than convicted of their crimes. My rant speech is about the American justice system and how horrible it is, how often mistakes are made, how many poor innocent people lose their entire lives because so many prosecutors and police officers are so set on just getting their guy. And it's one passion of mine that has driven me to dive deeper into it, and I actually want to spend my career focusing on those people. It's done as a study done by the Houston criminal defense attorneys showed that over 257 cases have been overturned recently just from DNA evidence and new DNA evidence. Basically, they're all finding that these people that they sentenced to life or even the death penalty didn't actually commit the crimes that they were found guilty of, and they've spent more than 2,000 years combined total of innocent people behind bars. So could you imagine that happening to you or somebody you love? The chances are really high that it actually would happen to you. Your chances are even higher if you are a Black male who is convicted of murder. After that is rape, after that is armed robbery and assault, and then after that are petty crimes. And those are the highest conviction rates of innocent people. There's actually an Innocence Project that was started in the 1990s in New York, and their main focus is finding cases of people that are innocent and have been wrongfully convicted. And they work really hard to use DNA evidence mainly to overturn those convictions. So I really want to set up an internship with them. I've already got the paperwork started, but I just feel like our generation is the generation that can finally make a change. There's so much wrong with our justice system. There's so much unevenness and uncertainty, and it's not uniform, and systematic racism is real, and it happens every day in front of us. And I think that our generation needs to be the generation to change things and finally make the laws that stick, make sure that we get the right person, and stop sending innocent people to jail for crimes that they didn't commit. Also stop sending them to death for crimes that they did not commit. That's my speech.
That was good.
That was good.
That was really good.
Anybody have any questions?
Yeah. What are you going to school for?
Right now, business management, but I plan to use my business degree to get into law school.
Nice.
Yeah, I want to be a criminal defense attorney so that I can eventually donate my free time to working with people that believe that they've been wrongfully convicted, because it
Yeah.
actually happens way too often.
Mm-hmm.
I think you'd be really good at that.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's the one thing I finally found that I actually have a passion for. So, like, all right, let's do it. Full send.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So before someone goes, do we want to do a different one, or do you want to wait till after the next one?
I think one person can go, and then we should switch, because they shouldn't be longer than 9 minutes.
That's true. That's true.
So whoever wants to go, go.
I can go.
Okay.
So my speech is over animal cruelty. Imagine you're walking down the street and you see an animal, but you can't quite make out what it is because of the poor condition it is. As you get closer, you can see the fur is matted, it's overgrown, it looks malnourished, and it's in bad condition. As you approach, you realize that it's a dog. Sadly, too many animals are dealing with this every day. According to Brandonville.com, 1 million animals are abused each year. Animal abuse has started to become even more popular. According to Brandonville.com, greyhounds sometimes are just killed because they're not fast enough or competitive enough. Today, I will be telling you what animal abuse is, the effects on animals, short-term and long-term, and why animal cruelty needs to stop. I'll start with what animal cruelty is. Animal cruelty is when animals are neglected or abused. According to Brandonsville.com, 5,000 puppy mills are just made to profit off of people who no longer want their pets. A sad story that I've witnessed is I had a neighbor a couple years ago that they had a bigger dog and it would constantly had mats and fur and looked overgrown. It was always kept outside on a short leash and it had a big backyard, but it wasn't able to utilize it. It only had a small little house for it to go in. But luckily, one of the neighbors called it in, and now that dog is properly taken care of. When animals are abused, they have many short-term and long-term effects. According to CanadianVeterinarians.net, some short-term effects that they have are bruising, scratches, and burns. When they're emotionally abused, they often have similar characteristics to humans, so you can tell that they're abused. They may be fearful, aggressive, and oftentimes they're very helpless. They're also, when they're neglected, they are in bad physical shape. Some long-term effects that they have may be stab wounds, broken bones, ligament damages, and scars. When they're emotionally abused, they often can't recover and they're fearful their entire life. If they're neglected, they could end up being in bad condition their whole life because they also can't recover from that. Animal abuse is such a big issue and it tends to get looked over a lot. According to petpedia.co, every 60 seconds an animal is abused, and 65% of those are dogs. And it happens way more than we think. Animal testing and animal abuse are just a few of the different types of animal cruelty. According to NSI.org, they are exposed to toxic testing, which includes force feeding, chemicals put on their skin, and injections. This can lead to distress, pain, and it could lead to death and more sicknesses. Today I told you what animal cruelty is, the short-term and long-term effects on animals, and why animal abuse needs to stop. If you ever see an animal abuse, make sure to call animal control. It'll help save the life of an animal that isn't able to do it themselves. Do you have any questions?
That was good. That was really good. Did you find any research about, like, was there a lot of research about like testing on animals and stuff like that when you were researching this?
Yeah, they did have a lot of sources about the different types of animal testing that they do, and like the injections and all sorts of things that happen behind the scenes that we aren't aware of.
Sad.
What made you decide to present this topic?
I really like animals, and so then it just like I was having a hard time coming up with a topic at first, but then I realized how like passionate I am about animals, and like I have a couple dogs, and so it was a really interesting topic to look into.
Nice job.
That was good.
Okay.
Okay, should we switch to the other meeting?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay, bye.